Hey guys, Saltfish here, and today I'm coming at you with another D&D video. Today we will be talking about the Slaad. In the ever-changing chaos of Limbo, bits of forest and meadow, ruined castles, and isolated islands drift through a tumult of fire, water, earth, and wind. The foremost inhabitants of this inhospitable plain are the toad-like Slaad. Slaad are undisciplined and have no formal hierarchy, although weaker Slaad obey stronger ones under threat of annihilation. The Spawning Stone. Long ago, Primus, overlord of the Mordans, created a gigantic, geometrically complex stone imbued with the power of law. He then cast it adrift in Limbo, believing that the stone would bring order to the chaos of that plane and halt the spread of chaos to other planes. As the stone's power grew, it became possible for creatures with ordered minds, such as Mordans and Githzerari, to create enclaves in Limbo. However, Primus's creation had an unforeseen side effect. The chaotic energy absorbed by the stone spawned the horrors that became known as Slaad. Sages refer to Primus's massive creation as the Spawning Stone for this reason. The Slaad wiped out every last Mordan enclave in Limbo. As creatures of utter chaos, Slaad loathe Mordans and attack them on sight. Nonetheless, Primus stands by his creations and either doesn't perceive the Slaad as a threat or chooses to ignore them. Birth and transformation. Slaad have horrific cycles of reproduction. Slaad reproduce either by implanting humanoid hosts with eggs or by infecting them with a transformative disease called chaos phage. Each color of Slaad reproduces and transforms in a different way, with red Slaad spawning blue and green Slaad, and blue Slaad spawning red and green. Each green Slaad undergoes a lifelong cycle to transform into a more powerful gray and death Slaad. With each transformation, the Slaad retains its memory. Shape changers. Some Slaad can transform into the humanoid creature from which they were originally spawned. These Slaad return to the material plane to sow discord in the guise of their former selves. Now going into red Slaad. When a red Slaad claws a humanoid creature, it can inject an egg from a gland under one of its claws. The egg works its way into the host and gestates, eventually forming a Slaad tadpole. Such a tadpole then eats its way out of the host's body, feeds on the host remains, and then seeks any other fresh meat it can find. The tadpole transforms into a fully grown blue Slaad or green Slaad if the host had the ability to cast 3rd level spells or higher within 2d12 hours. Blue Slaads. The bone hooks that protrude from the back of a blue Slaad's hands inflict a terrible transformative disease on humanoids wounded by them. This infection, called chaos phage, transforms its victims into a fully grown red Slaad or green Slaad if the host was a spellcaster able to cast 3rd level spells or higher. Now to talk about green Slaad. Green Slaad are surprisingly intelligent and possess innate spellcasting ability. A green Slaad can change its shape to appear as a humanoid. If it was born of a humanoid host, the Slaad usually adapts the host's form. At some unpredictable point in its existence, a green Slaad unlocks the means to magically, instantly, and permanently transform itself into a gray Slaad. Unlocking this knowledge can take years, even decades. Gray Slaad. Outside of Limbo, gray Slaad act as living extensions of the will of their masters, the Death Slaad. A gray Slaad journey to the material plane on errands of doom. Often taking humanoid form, gray Slaad learn how to master the use of a greatsword and imbue it with its own innate magic. A gray Slaad then eats the entire corpse of a dead Death Slaad and instantly transforms into a Death Slaad. Death Slaad. Death Slaad are suffused with energy from the negative energy plane and exemplify evil's corruption of chaos, and they take sadistic pleasure in bringing harm to others. They propagate their race by dragooning mobs of red and blue Slaad and invading other planes. Humanoids who survive their incursion become incubators for new Slaad. Now, I just want to talk about a variant Slaad control gem. As a Slaad emerges from the spawning stone, the stone magically implants a fragment of itself in the Slaad's brain. This fragment takes the form of a magic gem roughly the size and shape of a human child's fist. The gem is the same color as the Slaad. Another creature can use magic to draw forth a Slaad's gem and use it to subjugate the Slaad. The Slaad must obey whoever possesses the gem. If a Slaad's gem is destroyed, the Slaad can no longer be controlled in this way. A Slaad born from something other than the spawning stone has no gem in its brain, but it gains one if it comes into contact with the spawning stone. Slaad on Limbo are attracted to the spawning stone, so most end up with a gem. A Slaad with a control gem in its brain has the following additional trait. Other than the Slaad having to obey whoever holds the stone, certain spells can be used to acquire the gem. If the Slaad fails its saving throw against imprisonment, the spell can transfer the gem to the spellcaster's open hand instead of imprisoning the Slaad. A wish spell can cast in the Slaad's presence can be worded to acquire the gem. A greater restoration spell cast on the Slaad destroys the gem without harming the Slaad. Someone who is proficient in wisdom medicine can remove the gem from an incapacitated Slaad. Each try requires 1 minute of uninterrupted work and a successful DC 20 wisdom medicine check. Each failed attempt deals 20 or 4d10 psychic damage to the Slaad. And well, that's the 5e information on Slaads. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, comment on how I should improve. And as always, leave a comment on any monsters I should cover in another video. Thank you, and have a great day.